What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Alex G alongside Mal, and this is the A Couple of Things podcast where we're here to talk about a couple of things. Let's get right into it. What do we got? Let's do it. First of all, fix your mic. Fix your mic.
Hopefully I'm not coughing today, but I feel like I am.
How is it every time your mic is upside down? What about this right here makes you feel like that's the right way up?
I don't know.
Every time.
Let's spin it real quick.
We've been doing this for too long.
It's fine.
Nah, you gotta twist C because it messes up the audio when it's upside down because the... No, it really doesn't. What's going on, y'all? Yeah, we don't... Keep your mic disconnected. We don't want to hear from you anyway. So...
Valuable controversy. You need the controversial, crazy person in every situation, I feel like.
I'm controversial, but I have...
I'm not gonna say I'm crazy, but I'm a little unhinged sometimes. I you know what? I feel like I'm the person that says the things that people are all thinking.
Nah, I actually feel like the stuff you say people aren't thinking. If you ever seen the things people talk about, like they're not thinking really at all.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're keeping it internal.
No, I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even think that they think these things.
I feel like some people think some of these egregious thoughts, and they're like, all right, if I say this out loud, I might get canceled.
Give us some of these examples of what we might get you canceled.
No, but a lot of people are people pleasers. You know what? And I would say I'm a people pleaser, but when I'm with you, I'm not, because like I'm like the most.
So you like to please?
With you
like to please everyone but me, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying I'm like, I feel like you actually get the best version of me than anybody in my life, because you get the real, authentic, raw.
But what if I don't want the real, authentic, and raw, candid?
You do though. Who wouldn't want that with somebody that they're laying in bed with every night? You would want that.
We lay in bed together every night?
Yeah. Where else would we lay?
I sleep on the couch.
All right. See, now you're lying. Why would you say that? We're not in no fucking, what do you call
jokes. It's jokes.
Dysfunctional relationship. This
definitely jokes. Listen. If you ever told me to, nah.
I would never do that. That's not disrespectful.
You're gonna tell me to go sleep on the couch, and I'm
when you have someone has to sleep on the couch, and then the relationship should be over. I feel like no matter what's going on, we're gonna stay in that bed.
Yeah, you're not gonna tell
me. Or
you're
gonna have a second bedroom.
I'm financially contributing to a household, and you're gonna tell me where I can and can't sleep. Yeah.
And I feel like some women do that. They're like, get out of my room, get out of the room. Like, is that power, like, tripping shit?
Nah.
Not me. Nah. Like, cause that's like where, like when you disrespect a person, like, you know, male and female, right? It's like when you disrespect, especially when you disrespect like the male ego and the male providership. It's like, that's wild. Oh, it's upside down.
Yeah.
Like, that's so demeaning, I feel like, to a man to be like, get out, go sleep on the couch. Unless it was a situation like where you cheated. Then it's like, nigga, get the fuck out of here. Get on that couch.
But if I'm still paying for it, and this is all hypothetical.
Well, you know what? First of all, we would never be in a situation like that, because you wouldn't do that while we're married, or while we're dating. But that sounds crazy. While we're married, at all, at this point in our lives.
At this point.
Yeah.
Want to break this down a little bit further?
I'm saying, like, we're mature adults. Like, I feel like cheating is for young people. It's for immature people. It's for insecure people. It's for seeking validation. It's for seeking retribution. I think if you do that as an older adult, there's some other stuff going on. And not that it's ever a pass to me, but I feel like when you're younger, you do kind of get a little bit more of like, all right, at least you're 18, 17, 19, 20. Once you get to like 25, it's like, all right, grow up.
That's the crazy part, because like, not that I'm particularly old or anything, but it's like, I see the way people our age and older act. And I'm like, damn, like, y'all are really lost.
I know, it's scary.
It's actually weird.
Don't you feel so mature? Like, for some reason, I don't know what switched, but like, I feel like even like the dynamic of our relationship, right? Like, we've seen how we were when we were younger, how immature and childish and mean we were to each other. Like, I feel growth. I feel older. I feel more mature. Like, I know right from wrong. I know the consequences of my actions, right? Like, when you're younger, like, you kind of know the consequences of your actions, but you can't see far enough into the future to really feel it until you get there. And you're like, dang, like, that stuff that I did like 10 years ago is still haunting me to this day. You know what I mean? And it's like, but like, knowing that now as an adult, it's like, I know I wouldn't make certain decisions because of that. Like, that's like, you know, that's one reason why, right? But it's like, you know how stuff affects you. So like, you think so much more deeply about your decisions. And to see people our age and older still doing the same stuff that we were doing when we were 20, it's like insane to me.
Really crazy.
It's like,
for me, what changed the most with me and like my maturity is really defining what all I want out of life. Yeah. And I think that's such a hard question, because it's kind of like I was talking to my brother the other day. because he's still in school. He's about to graduate soon. Just like,
So crazy.
like, what do you want to do, like, as a career?
Yeah.
But the bigger part of that question is what do you want out of life, really? Because that's really what that question is also asking.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the biggest change in my behavior and personality and the way I treat people, a lot of that really just came down to what do you want out of life? Because if you want certain things, you're gonna have to correct yourself and put yourself on the right path to achieve that. And with the level of success that people say that they want, I actually have taken the steps to do so, like spiritually, and inside of our relationship. So emotionally, all these different things. I feel like I've determined what I want out of life, and now I'm tailoring and have tailored myself to be able to accomplish that as soon as possible. And you see that, right? Like,
I feel like life.
It's
not that hard to control your fate. Like, I feel like so many people, they don't like to take accountability, but they're literally the root of their own demise. Like, could we seen it 2 times over? Like, it felt so simple, right? Like, I don't feel like we were stressed or strained very, like, to the max to get the life that we got. It seemed very seamless, right, and effortless to this point. Like, yeah, there was effort behind it, right, but it didn't seem like it wasn't like it wasn't like we were jumping over hurdles and this was so hard to get to where we're at in life. We literally followed a simple blueprint and we're here. Like, I feel like life is so easy to really manipulate what you want. Like, I feel like it's so easy to truly get what you want out of this life if you really, really push for it.
Yeah, and
people, it's so easy.
People don't really truly want to push for it. That's the thing.
Cause I can admit there's places in my life that I should be or want to be that I didn't push myself to get to that point.
Me too.
Like, I can admit that easily. Like, when it comes to me being a CPA, like, I'm not studying. So, duh, you're not a CPA yet. Like, I'm not going as hard as I could at work. So, yeah, you're not making the money that you should or want to be making yet because you're not pushing yourself to that point. Can you see it in real time? People who do push themselves and who really are hard workers, they be living the life, you know? And I think only a small percentage of people truly have what it takes to get to like where they got to.
Yeah, for me, like, I think career-wise, I definitely like put in a lot of work in my actual job, but where I could definitely work, where I say I want a different life, because obviously I'm not. This is applicable to everybody. Everybody can always go harder. Definitely with the music thing, like, I definitely haven't ever put forth the most amount of effort possible, and it's almost like that question, like, how bad do you really want it? So that would be the one thing where I would say, like, I haven't necessarily tailored some of my work ethic around the music part. It's not the making it; it's just like the posting it and all that other stuff that makes it really hard. Putting yourself
out there, right? Like going to maybe booking a studio session, or going to producer networking events and just really like getting in people's faces, sending your beats to maybe smaller artists first to try to like build, you know, a repertoire with like smaller people who might eventually blow up, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Because even there's people out there who put their all and they still just don't get there, but at least they could feel comfort that they push themselves to that limit.
Yeah, and I've seen I
don't think most people do that.
When I actually make the effort with the music, it does pretty well. Like,
yeah. And even minimal effort has done well. Like, even with you simply just sending out a DM or submitting something, you get responses. Like, it hasn't got all the way there yet, right? Like, it's crazy how, like, you've been, like, real, like, right there with, like, multiple occasions by, like, low, like, effort. Mm-hmm. So imagine, like, really extending and going beyond, up and beyond. Like, you never know. But sometimes low effort does get people far. Like, you've seen this plenty of celebrities who got a viral post and now they're who they are, you know? Like, might not be super high effort, like Ice Spice, for example, right? Like, I'm not sure what her work ethic was looking like, but she might have simply just made that song and it just did what it did, you know? I mean, it's still some work ethic to there, right? Like, she still had to create the lyrics, make the beat, go in the studio, film the music video. But sometimes people get lucky and sometimes people really put the work in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we were saying that applies to everything in life.
Everything in life. If you want it, act like you want it, because
and it's scary seeing like grown people really like being losers, in my opinion.
I think the scariest part about that for me is like I don't necessarily care about legacy, because once you're dead, it's not like you're gonna know what your legacy is. We see people's legacies that have died get torn to shreds all the time, and they'll never know anyway. But for me, I think it's what makes that that's so much of a more heightened, I guess, like, issue that I have with people that don't change in their older years, is that, like, life is so short, and like, this is really the only life you have. So when you're making any decision, like, any decision really is a big decision to me. Mm-hmm. So like, if you're still running around wasting time, like chasing certain things that you know you shouldn't be chasing. It's like your life is, that's gonna be what your life is defined by, and that's it. Like if somebody read your story back, like
Yeah, like what did you do?
yeah, what did you do? Like what would you like people to have known about you? If every decision you made was written down like in a book, how would you want somebody to watch your life back on a movie? And I think a lot of people make decisions where it's like you really wasted X amount of time doing whatever, just wasting time, and some people don't ever snap out of it. So that to me is actually sad.
Yeah,
because you don't get the life back.
You don't. Like it's not such a crazy concept. You really don't. Like let's say even if reincarnation is true, right? You don't get this life back. Like the experience that you're living now is the only time you ever live this exact experience, and that's so crazy. Like oh, that just gave me like chills. Like everything we've been through, everything that we've done, like you're never gonna live that again. Isn't that crazy? Like all of the fun times, it's just memories.
Yeah, people be wasting time thinking that there's a lot of time because you're young. Because I do get it, right? Because that whole premise of
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought this cough would be gone by now. It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're probably gonna postpone the podcast until you're done with that cough. But like, I know I get people don't want young people to be stressed out over, you know, trying to accomplish everything before they turn 15. So I get the whole premise of, you know, enjoy your youth. But at the same time, I think people enjoy their youth and and then they are enjoying what they consider their youth to be is like 50 years.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be 50.
I feel like people constantly feel like I have time. They constantly have that mindset.
You shouldn't be 50 posting thirst traps. And I'm not like, it's not like an ageism thing. It's just more so of like a prioritization of
because like
what's
what are you
important.
trying to accomplish?
Yeah, what are you trying to accomplish
by doing that? Like really ask yourself, like if you're like at that age posting thirst traps, like what exactly are you trying to gain from this?
Yeah, what are you looking for out of life?
Because I can get it when you're younger, right? Because when you're younger, you're impressionable, you're naive, you're young, you're just getting that attention for the first time in your life. So you're like kind of like are craving it, right? Like when you're like between maybe the ages of like 15 and like 21, 22, right? Like you just are developing, like you just are gaining like girls, we just are gaining like boobs, you know, you're growing into a woman. So you do like this naturally as a human crave that validation or attention from the opposite sex, right? But at the age of 50, it's like, come on. Like what are you doing? Like there's no way that at that age you're still seeking that validation. Like, but I think at that age it's because it's like you're aging. So I think it's a different type of validation that they're seeking. Like, do I still got it? But like, I feel like at that point you should not care. Like your life should be in a certain place.
Or if you do, because I always like to be
devil's advocate,
but like kind of like in a neutral stance. Because I'm gonna give my opinion on what I feel always, but I always like to take it back like to a different stance. So like, if you want to post thirst traps and you're 50, it's like actually really the whole premise and like why I attack certain like things people do, because really all it comes down to for me is that I know that like people's actions don't line up with, you know, what they say. So if you're saying you want a certain life, but then you're doing things that contribute to the opposite, then I'm going to point it out. So if you're trying to accomplish being in like a stable, loving relationship and you're 50 and you're posting thirst traps, it's kind of the same mentality as like a 20-year-old. So then that to me, I'm going to point out and have that be an issue. But if you're just 50 and you're accomplished and you're doing whatever you want, like that I don't care about. I don't care about the concept of doing it, but it's just like not working towards what you actually want.
Yeah, and again, but that example, at 50, you should know that thirst traps is not the key to a relationship. Like
or 40.
Yeah, when you're young, you just don't know. Like you just think, okay, this is what men want. Like this will make him like me. Like, you know, some girls are just very that, you know, don't know. But by 50, you acquire that knowledge to know that that's not everything. Like sex is nothing. Like sex doesn't mean nothing really to like most people. I would say like it's everybody does it. So I feel like at 50 you should know that it's like, ooh, titties, ooh. Like if anything, it makes you look kind of bad because it's like, okay, you have titties and what? Like how is that supposed to be helping you get a relationship? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you just expect certain behavior from older people. Like I said, when you're younger, you kind of get a pass in some way because you're just experiencing life for the first time. You're experiencing things for the first time. Like that age between like being 0 and like 25 is like, I feel like those first 25 years of your life are probably the most like wild years of your life, because there's so much change and growth, and you're living life for the first time. When you're doubling that and you're 50, like I think the next 25 years, like we just passed 25, right? The next 25 years it's gonna not be any much of a huge surprise. Like I feel like we've seen so much already. Like I think the next part of our life, which is gonna be the first experiencing for the first time, is like raising a family and all that stuff. But it's like when it comes to like attracting a partner, you experience that already when you're at the, of age of puberty and stuff. Like when you start first getting those feelings of like crushes and stuff, like it's like been there, done that. So when you're like at a certain age still doing certain stuff, it's like kind of scary to me, because it's like, I don't know. It's like I say, like I just pray that the brain is not wired to just start doing weird stuff when you get to that age, and we'll see how we act when we get to that point. But I personally don't see myself doing certain stuff at a certain age. I think as a character, I think certain stuff that people do at a certain age is a character flaw that's existed since they were existing in this planet.
Yeah.
That they never conquered.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how we got on that.
Yeah, right. What did we even start with?
Starting and getting philosophical. Yeah, never sleeping on the couch.
Oh yeah, I was saying too, like, yeah, the reason why that would never happen is like, first of all, like I said, I don't anticipate you cheating, but also, if that were the case, we would have more than one bedroom, so there would be a second place for you to sleep besides the couch. Go to the guest bedroom. Yeah, we're not sleeping in the room.
So if I cheated, you can't go. What if I kick you out to the second bedroom?
One of us, whoever wants to go to the second bedroom. But it shouldn't even have to be a thing. It shouldn't even have. It shouldn't. No, but I'm saying it shouldn't even have to be a conversation to get out. You should already know the vibes.
Honestly, the crazy thing about that for me, because we've talked about this before, with playing with people, is that I would never do it. Just obviously the morality part of it is one conversation, but I don't know about anybody else, but one thing that will keep you in line is the possibility of that person murking you in your sleep. Like, you're gonna wake up with a butcher's knife in your back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah. Honestly, real shit, I don't know why or how men do that and then still are able to sleep comfortably in the same place as the woman.
Yeah.
Because for me, I would feel like at any second, like I could get it. Yeah. Like that's spaghetti.
Such a scary thought.
My spaghetti gonna have all types of bleach in it.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Like
people that's crazy to me.
Like we talked about this before. Like when we were talking about like how. Like the whole concept of like, especially like men, I think men do it more and women do it too, but the whole like, oh, I got your girl, or I got I got your man. Like
people are crazy.
People are crazy, and I feel like it's so scary like that people don't tread lightly with that. And like you just mentioned, like I actually never really thought about that, like the concept of cheating, even if you feel like you got away with it, and like, but knowing that there's still a possibility that you could get caught, or that the person might know, and like you thought you got away with it, but they know, and then they could, like you said, like you sleeping next to them, like nothing can happen to you. And that's such a naive way to think, because cheating is such a traumatic thing. And I feel like some people, like a lot of people look at it as like, cause a lot of people aren't crazy, right? So that you would cheat and it would just be the routine of crying, screaming, cursing out, divorce, breakup, right? But I don't think like a lot of people don't think of the possibility that you could get killed.
People are crazy,
especially like you said, like a wife, right? Like who might be cooking your food, like she might be cooking your food, or next thing you know you got fucking side now.
That's happened.
Yeah. Or you get stabbed in your sleep. Like
way too many times. Like, people are crazy. I don't see how people see how crazy the news is and then don't think it happens to them. Yeah, because like I don't know. When I saw you, because you got that parking ticket earlier. Yeah. And I was just thinking about
my first time, by the way, getting a New York City parking ticket because my dad is a freaking police officer.
That random story where a guy walked up and saw the I guess they were a police officer. Or, I don't know, because I know in some places they're not necessarily police. They're like traffic police. I guess whatever. Traffic. Yeah. And they shot them in the head.
Oh yeah,
like stuff like that is crazy. So I don't
freaking crazy.
So to me, I don't see how people see stories like that on the news and don't think that crazy could be applicable to them at any point.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people really like conceptualize how severe like the concept of cheating, especially at a certain point, like marriage, right? Like I feel like marriage and then cheating is so crazy, because you see how weddings are. You bring so many people out. So many people spend their money, time. You spend your money, time, effort. Like you feel, especially super religious people, they feel like this is a union under God. Like this is such a I took your last name. I had to go through the process of changing my paperwork, my social security, my, you know, my identity, and that, like, I have your name, and then you're gonna do that to me? Nah. Like, as a boyfriend and girlfriend level, it's bad at all levels, right? But I feel like once you get to marriage and do that stuff, that is like so crazy, especially for the woman. I can imagine like feeling so scorned and like disrespected. Like, you made me take away my freaking dad's name to take yours, and you gonna do that to me? Oh, nah. No, I'm just kidding. Let me not say that. Because people could be, something happened to you, they could be like, she did it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, listen.
No, but I could understand, like
something does happen to me, it was her.
No, but humans have that, like, I don't think people, like, even the people who do those things, I don't think people realize they have it in them. That's why the whole snap thing exists. Like, I just saw a video the other day of a guy who was arguing with his son, they said, in the car home, and he was on the Ring camera, and the wife was like, what happened? And he's like, he shot his son and killed his son, like they were arguing on the ride home. Isn't that crazy? And you could see him in the Ring camera, like, in shock, because like he's like conceptualizing what he just did, and he was just like, and he just like you could just see the panic, because like I feel like that could happen to anybody. Like, you just might be so mad, you're just not thinking. And, you just do something. I mean, I feel like there's still got to be something a little off with you to kill for some reason. I feel like there's something to do got to be off. But I think you see animals in the animal kingdom kill other animals all the time. I don't think killing is so far fetched.
It's not so above us.
Yeah,
and that's what we used to get. And that's where we came from. We're just in a more refined society to a certain extent. But also, one thing I got to realize too is that, like, for us, we speak from a different perspective. And I remember like watching the Joe Budden podcast before, like in the old days when they were all still there. Mm-hmm. And they had the same kind of, like, not issue, but just kind of thing they dealt with some of the audience, is that we live next to Gotham City. So the stuff that we see is very different because we live in the most densely populated state, being in Jersey. And we also live next to the biggest city. Yeah. Population wise in the world. So our perspective on like the crazy stuff we see is so much more heightened because we are around way too many people. I really have the Citizen app, like, especially when I got my hair done today in Harlem. It's like every 2 notification seconds. Like if I probably still have some of them up now, but it would be like 2 men shot. No, seriously. Like, because I told every 5 minutes, somebody just got killed in the subway, right? Yeah, I'm like, I'm late to getting to work because people got killed in the Bronx. The Bronx, Concourse, Bronx. This was at 4:20 p.m. Robbery at knife point. Look, before that, Washington Heights, New York. Report of armed man in building lobby. Assault with a knife. The victim's injuries are not life-threatening. Fire reported in the Bronx. Women trapped somewhere. Vehicle overturned. 2 men shot. Like, this is all within the last 24 hours. It's very chaotic. Search for subway shooting suspect. That's probably what's the shooting to happen today. Like, non-stop. Armed man in a parking garage. Gunpoint robbery at Citizen something, like, non-stop. Sheepshead Bay robbery. This was all since Thursday, like, and today's Saturday. Yeah, so we see a lot, and that's just what's reported. Mm-hmm. We see a lot, so our perspective on the crazy is a little bit different. Like, I know a lot of people are exposed to certain stuff, and not that everything in the world happens in New York and nothing happens anywhere else. I don't mean to make it sound like that, but it's just like on a daily basis, there's so much chaotic stuff, like how many people got to get hit by a train in New York? Like, I've seen dead bodies on subway platforms. Like, it's just like, we see a lot. So we see a lot of craziness just being where we are. So I think a lot of people don't necessarily get that exposure, so they don't think that much of it. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah. Just tread lightly. I feel like that's like the common thing. Like, people just think nothing can happen to them. I feel like that's just a bad way to think. Yeah. Our first topic was we didn't even get to our first topic. We just was setting. Yeah. But that's good. It's natural. It's natural flow. Lead us into this one. Risa Tisa. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's literally all I wrote was Risa Tisa. So, I mean, at this point, everybody should be aware of, like, probably what's considered one of the most popular story times on social media and on TikTok to date. Yep. I would say for sure, right? In history, yep. And literally in history at this point, like, everybody was talking about it. And it's crazy to me because, like, I didn't think it was going to blow up as big as it did. I forgot honestly how I was first introduced to it. I think I just kept seeing you on Twitter and TikTok on my For You page. And I was like, let me see what this is all about. And when I first watched the whole, like, I did watch all 50 parts for everybody. Like, I know it seems like I have no life. And I kind of hate, like, people say that. They're like, how'd you guys sit there and listen to a whole 50-part story? Like, how you not invested? And I get that.
But people need to understand context. Not all of us. First of all, nobody should be sitting there glued and watching the whole time like this. I feel that's a little much. For people who this might sound crazy to some people. Some of us work from home. And some of us, even when we're in the office, are allowed to have our headphones in. So there's a thing called listening with your headphones while you're working. Like, you're working. What else are you going to be doing at work, right? Like, you listening to music, you listen to a podcast.
Probably working like me.
Yeah, but
I'm a hard-working gentleman.
You listen to podcasts.
I don't get to listen to anything.
No, for real. Like, that's the thing. Like, sometimes it's hard for me to listen to things at work because I'm an accountant and, like, I need to actually analyze numbers and, like, figure out variances. And, like, you know, sometimes it's hard to multitask when you're doing a job that's, like, so critical and you can't make a mistake. But this might sound profound, but people work from home. So, no, I'm not sitting there glued caring about this woman's life that much, right? Like, I was like, let me see what the hype's about. It was a good story. I listened to it. I was working and I just scrolled and let it. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I listened to this actually. Oh, no, it was like Sunday, Monday. Yeah. But anyway, I do see both sides though. It is kind of weird to be invested in somebody's life. I get that. But it was just, you know, interesting story. Like, it's no different than watching reality TV shows. Baddies. These girls will watch baddies and watch women fight every weekend.
Instead of being offended, how about we break down what exactly was the video? Okay. Thank you.
So, if anybody who doesn't already know, because he should.
You fighting shadows over here.
No, I'm not.
Shadow boxing.
This woman, her name, I don't know her real name, but I mean her
name is Risa Tisa.
I don't know if that's her real
That's her
name.
government
you
name.
Her name's Risa?
Risa Tisa.
I don't know what her name is actually.
Big Risa Tisa.
But she created a series on TikTok, a 50-part. It was 50 plus parts because it was like intermissions.
Docu-series.
Yeah. It was called Why or Who the F Did I Marry? So it was just her basically talking about who she, like, questioning like who would I marry, and explaining all the crazy things that this man put her through, and you know how she was just like bamboozled almost and was led astray, I would say, by a relationship that turned into a marriage, and the guy ended up being like this pathological liar and just like very toxic. And so then she sat and gave us a 50-part series on it, which I thought was very interesting. For one, because like I feel like it could have been less than 50 parts. I feel like she could have cut down a lot. There's a lot of fluff. I feel like she could have cut it down. She could have talked faster. She talked very slow, which is fine, right? I appreciate slow talking, clear. Like she speaks very well. I would say like good vocabulary. Speaks very, like, you could tell she's educated or just as well spoken, which I like that.
That's exactly how a certain ethnic group describes black people.
What do you mean?
When they just speak like normal.
No, like she's very well spoken. There's a thing. There's a such thing as called not being well spoken. Any race could not be well spoken. Like you could tell she speaks very clearly. Like she would be a great public speaker. Not everybody has that skill. Like I don't think I have that skill. I think I'm educated, but I don't think I'm a great speaker. But that's something I want to work on. But good little story, right? I feel like there was a lot of fluff. But like we just said, one of the biggest, if not the biggest story time ever in the history of social media and TikTok. But you know me, I'm gonna have my gripes and I'm gonna have my shit talk that I always gotta have about everything. But you didn't watch it, right?
No.
But you kind of are aware. Like I kind of gave you like the synopsis. Like you kind of know basically the gist.
He was just a scammer. It was a 50-part series about him just scamming and all the different instances of him scamming. Basically. So
basically, essentially, for anybody who didn't watch it, a quick summary. There's this woman. I'm not sure her age. I was assuming she was like late 20s, maybe 30s already. And I know for a fact she's probably in her 30s now. But when this all happened was during COVID, right before COVID happened. So like March 2020. She felt like it's my turn to get married. Like, you know, you're seeing a lot of your peers, your friends finally get married and like have their families. And I feel like a lot of women get to that point with their late 20s. And we're starting to see it because we're 27, right? So we're starting to see it amongst our peers who are unmarried, single right now, right? There's like this mad rush, this scramble to compete almost with others or just want it to be your turn to have your family, have your kids. Women, our biological clocks are ticking. So that's like a thing that's lingering in the head. Like, oh, I got to have my kids. I got to have my family, you know? So basically that's what she was going through. On the dating apps, like a lot of people are. Met this man. She went to the first date. Her tire popped. So the date was like, she was devastated. Like, dang, can't go on a date. She called him. He came to the rescue. He came to the tire place, brought her to the tire place, paid for her tire. And then they still went to Cheesecake Factory for their date. Had a good date. then she did that. You know, they got into the car and he played like I think I found like some song with the lyrics like I'm gonna marry this woman, or I think this one, you know, this is gonna be my wife. Some John Legend song, I don't know. But so she was hooked off of that. She, you know, we live in a day and age, right, where women are money hungry. So that's the first probably green flag for her. Oh, he paid for the tire. Oh, that's a man. He bought my tire. Oh, and then he's smooth with it. He played the music. And I could get it, right? Because a lot of people have a fairy tale-esque.
Stop it.
I know, I'm not going to
Yeah,
get too
you
critical.
just
I'm sorry.
cut it out.
No, but admittedly, a lot of people, the tires are expensive. And that's a great gesture that he did. But admittedly, a lot of people have a fairy tale-esque way of love. So they like, that's why people can easily manipulate, because they set the scenery. I'm about to go to tire. I'm going to play the music. I found the woman I'm going to marry. Like, you know, he knew how to play. And I feel like sometimes people fall for it. And I'm not blaming the woman for it, because it is messed up and manipulated by the man to like kind of set it up like and make it seem fairy tale-ish, you know. But also, I feel like people gotta like realize that we're humans, and not everything is a fairy tale. Like, that's just not how life is, in my opinion. Like, not like love. Love feels great when it's real love, and when it's not emulation of what you see in a movie. Because a movie is entertainment. It's not meant to be real life. And I feel like the type of stuff we see in movies could still be real life, but I feel like a lot of people put on a very like performative thing. You would agree, right? I feel like love is easy. Love is like effortless. It's like, and not effortless in the sense like, you know, you still put effort in like buying gifts and planning dates, but it's like it feels natural. It doesn't feel like you're trying to put on airs and do like the whole like, oh, there was butterflies in the sky. Oh, you know, and maybe that's just my perspective, right? There's 8 million people in this world with different perspectives.
You feel butterflies in the sky when I asked you to be my girlfriend?
Oh, no, I did feel butterflies, but I think people have like
when you first saw me, though,
Crazy Rich Asians perspective on love and like.
But when you first saw me, you didn't see like butterflies and rainbows and unicorns flying around.
I didn't see that flying around.
You didn't see that, no.
I felt flutters and I felt excitement and I felt like, oh, like I love love. But that's why I felt that, because it felt genuine. It didn't feel like you were trying to emulate what you see on social media. It felt like you were just being you and I was being me, and it felt real.
I'll be so sarcastic. Let me stop.
I know. But anyway, I still have to say, she fell for the okie doke, and so she did. And there's a sense of like you're rushing, so you are kind of, everything for you feels like, yep, that's him, that's the one, at a certain point. And basically after that, like he just lied, like he made it, like he, you know, lied about where he worked. He was talking on the phone with relatives, like he was lying about family members. He was saying he has siblings that didn't even exist. He was on the phone every day with people, but he probably wasn't actually on the phone. Like he's like, oh, I'm on the phone with my aunt, but he probably really wasn't even on the phone with his aunt or with anybody. He omitted the fact that he had a twin brother. He lied about his place of work, like not his place of work, but his position. He said he was a VP, and he really was like a forklift driver, apparently, He lied about having money. He lied about having like offshore accounts. He went to, he brought her to, what do you call it? Like the BMW and Audi dealership to test ride cars for her to like say he was gonna get her a car. Then he didn't, and he ended up getting her a Nissan Altima. So imagine you think you got to get an Audi on the way. He said it was about to be delivered, never got delivered because it didn't exist.
Where did this take place? Do we know?
Atlanta.
Oh yeah. I saw somebody say that he was at Atlanta Tinder swindler.
Yeah, it was like Atlanta and like the outsiding towns,
Gotcha.
So like Riverside. There's a town called Duluth. It was like Gwinnett County, I think, Clayco.
Gotcha.
County. So it was like that whole region. I'm not really aware of Atlanta, but I think a lot of rappers are from there, so I hear a lot of these counties. I know of them and I know these towns just because a lot of people come from Atlanta and talk about it. But yeah, it was like Atlanta in the Atlanta metro region. And then he brought her on house tours and was like, look at these beautiful houses. And he showed a fake slip about how he was approved for a $700,000 loan, all that stuff, right? And she was like believing it, even though it was clear lies. Like he could never fully prove that he actually had the income. None of the houses kept falling through. Whole bunch of like clear red flags. She got pregnant by him after knowing him for 2 months. He moved into her house. He had a studio apartment. She had a 3-floor townhouse, but apparently it was rented, so it wasn't even like she owned it. So just all these lies and craziness. And then she finds out he was like having sex with a prostitute, which was crazy. He was like cheating. Like she looked at his Facebook messages, a lot of like women and like him talking crazy in the DMs, like trying to hook up with other women. Just a lot of craziness. And yeah, she ended up getting divorced because she found out all the stuff about like him lying about like people dying, lying, like omitted the fact that he had 2 ex-wives, just a whole bunch of stuff that she found out. Then she divorced him. And yeah, now she's profiting off it. Oh yeah, he also lied about a trip to London and Paris, like booking a trip that's like her dream trip, and he lied about that. So in her mind, she said she felt like he maybe got off on the fact of giving you excitement and then snatching it from you. Or he could have just been, or he could just been a pathological liar who really like was trying to live out his twin brother's life, because apparently his twin brother was actually a VP at a company and like doing well. So it kind of has that element of psychological competitiveness that sometimes exists between siblings, and you feeling like you want to be your sibling or have his life, especially as a twin. Like he looks like you, and he has a whole completely different life than you. Different levels to this stuff. So clearly, this man is definitely crazy. There's no doubt about it that he's a crazy man. But where we have to criticize Risa Tisa, and let me say she did multiple times in her series take accountability, multiple times. So I do appreciate that. I feel like a lot of women don't take accountability, which irks me, because I feel like the most real thing you could do, if you were real B, like how these girls, I'm a real ass, maybe. If you were real, you would take accountability. Like there's nothing more realer than being real. Like, yeah, I did this. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I slack here. Yeah, I'm not great at this. I'm bad at this. I need to do better at this. I hate how women always make it seem like it's men's fault. Like everything can't be men's fault all the time. Like that's just psychological and crazy to think that. And I feel like women do have to take accountability. So I do appreciate that she took accountability multiple times, that she should have never married this man, because there was clear red flags. But I do feel like this is a critique that I have to say. I know she took accountability, but I'm still going to criticize her. Like, I don't know. Like the mental is such a delicate thing, right? So I haven't been in that place of desperation. So I don't know what that feels like. I truly don't. And I'm blessed to not know what that feels like. But I can imagine it is probably a sad, lonely feeling. Like you're seeing so many people around you and you're like, when is it my turn? Like, how come I haven't found my person? You know? So I could sympathize with that. Whereas what's the word? Empathize, right? Can empathize is something I haven't experienced. Sympathize would be if I experienced this. I could empathize with that. But I also feel like, why purposefully make a decision that's going to contribute to your own demise and more trauma in your life? Why actively create more trauma in your life? Because now you're in a worse situation than you were before. Because, yeah, like you were sad and felt like I wanted it to be my turn, but now you have all this trauma and lies and a divorce in your record. Now you have a failed marriage on your resume because you willing to get married to a man you barely even knew. That's another thing too. Because people like to rush us, right? Because we're a young couple that started dating young, and it's like, oh my God, like when people hear that we dated for 9 years, it's so crazy. Oh, 9? And you ain't got a ring? First of all, we're only 27. Second of all, why is it such a bizarre concept to actually truly get to know somebody layer by layer? Like, don't you feel like we know each other so deeply? Like we can know what we're gonna say and how we're gonna feel about something. Like we know each other in and out, like so deeply.
Tell me what I'm thinking right now.
That you want to get food and turn this camera off and go to sleep.
Damn. We really be in sync. That shit is crazy.
I saw you.
See how she did that?
I saw you over the Uber app, and I know you. I know you're tired.
I'm tired.
We didn't really sleep last night.
You know me so well. So this is.
I do.
That's what 9 years get you.
And I just feel like people like to criticize and judge that, right? But like, I could truly say, unless something happens in our marriage that's so like crazy, like infidelity or just anything, which, you know, obviously I pray and stuff like that does happen. You never know what can happen in life. But I don't foresee a divorce because we actually know each other. Like, we know this is what we want. We have so much time to deeply think and make that decision. I feel like so many people have a perception of marriage as you meet somebody, you click, and you feel like that's your person. You get married, and then they have the perception you figure them out later. That for me doesn't make sense. You're gonna make such a serious commitment and then try to figure out the person. Like, even with this Love is Blind show, right? That's what it seems like. You meet this person and then you marry them after knowing them for fucking 4 weeks.
It's all entertainment.
I mean, I know it's a show, but a lot of people watch that show and they take that stuff to heart.
That's the problem.
And then they go out into the real world and perpetuate what they see on the TV show.
I don't know how true it is, but supposedly that black guy is gay.
Yeah. He's gay, and 2 of them got like girls.
Yeah, I don't even
and
watch
funny,
it.
He gave me gay vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I have a good gator eye.
Yeah, so people don't understand that all that TV stuff.
They don't, and they take that stuff to heart.
It's crazy. crazy.
And that's how they go out into the real world. They meet a man and they think, oh, I met my person. After one date, I'm gonna marry this man and I'm gonna get to learn him later. No, that's not how it works. You learn the person before.
We know people that are like that.
We do. We do. Stop. But no, that's a real thing. Like, it's just, that's like so crazy to me. Like, that seemed like a miserable marriage. Like, can you imagine all like the bumps in the road that we went through, like of actually learning each other, and all like the frustration of communication and really getting to know each other, doing that while we're already married and making that commitment? Like, isn't it so much easier to do that stuff when there's nothing tying us to each other? Like right now we live together, right? But we went through all that stuff before we even lived together. Like, we could have easily stepped away at any time. But when you're legally binded to somebody, why are you gonna get to know them then? Like, that just blows my mind. So anybody could talk shit all they want about how long we've been dating. I could promise you we won't be divorced, and I could promise you the people that are talking either will never really be in a successful, loving, real marriage, or won't be married at all. So that's all I'm gonna say. But I just feel like with this situation, like, that's crazy. You met the man in March and you were pregnant with his baby in May. Ew. First of all, like, I'm sorry, like you didn't even know that man really, for real, and you was letting him bust in you. Like, that's crazy. But sorry, you know me, I'm a little bit off the radar, a little crazy. But it's just like, I don't know. I just want women to have more discernment, and for me, like, I feel like secondhand embarrassment by the lack of discernment, because where's the self-respect? Like I said, I can empathize with that desperation, but really search. Like, those red flags were clear. Like, I can understand some men are so much easier at hiding their red flags, and they are really master manipulators, right? Like, could really get you. Even the most smart person can't do some people's like manipulation. But this guy's red flags were so freaking clear, like in her face. Like, she called him lying plenty of times before she even committed to the marriage, and you still decided to stay. I don't feel bad. Burn me on the stake. I don't feel bad for her at all. Burn me on the stake. But I don't, because there was too many red flags. I feel bad for a woman that truly got manipulated and bamboozled, but she didn't. The signs were clear as day, and she chose to ignore them for the sake of desperation, to say she got a husband, because everybody wants to be like, oh, I got a husband. Everybody wants to say, and we talked about this plenty of times, everybody wants to say they're married because it sounds like it gives you a personality, it gives you a purpose. Everybody wants to be like, I'm a wife, but they don't even want to truly take the role of what an actual wife is, and like actually really love a person and know a person. They just want to say they're a wife so they could show off to their friends and their coworkers that they're married. Like, it gets real deep. So the red flags were clear as day. She should have never married that man. She should have never got pregnant by that man. She should have been having protected sex. And so at least maybe she was married too. I mean, I'm not gonna say that because haven't been protected in the last year, right? I've got off birth control. But I know you. We've been together 9 years. Like, so if I were to get pregnant today, like, I know me and you are gonna be like this for life. So, but to get pregnant by an obvious scammer, like obvious liar, like, you thought that man was a VP. You didn't use your intelligence to look to see his LinkedIn, ask him about how his job is. Like, you had no interest in what his day-to-day looks like. Like, I ask you all the time, like, we both know each other's jobs. Like, we might not understand it, right? Because you haven't done accounting, so you don't really know how it is, and I don't do your job.
Let me put you on the spot.
So we might not really understand it. But
nothing.
What you do?
No, go ahead, continue.
You are a upcoming product owner at Bloomberg. Don't know what that really is or what that means, but I know, like, when you explain it,
yeah. What's my day to day look like? What do I do when I first walk in the morning?
I don't know. You check your inbox?
No, I make my eggs and my coffee. Wrong. But you don't know me.
There's enough support about your job. Like, you're clearly not lying. This is like, I met your coworkers. I've been out on outings with them. I've been to your freaking people's Upper East Side apartments, or was it West Side? East.
That was
Upper East Side.
East Side.
I've met the people. I've heard what they do. I've seen it. I've seen your LinkedIn, and you have connections. Like, it's a real job. I've been to your office. You signed me in. I had a temporary badge. I got to see where you sit. You didn't try to know that person well enough to know what his job is. Like, you didn't say, hey, like, so what's a day-to-day look like for you? Like, what do VPs do? Sorry. Like, she was really slick, bubbleheaded.
It's late.
She was really...
Yeah, bubbleheaded. Yeah, that's the one.
What's the word?
Yeah, bubbleheaded.
I'm not going to do too much on her because he's the real villain. But, like, come on. That was so avoidable.
You've done over 20 minutes on her.
Because it was so avoidable. I feel like people just take... People are such a huge contributors to their own demise, and it's like scary seeing it in real time. Like, I feel like people make too much excuses. Like, of course, blame. At the end of the day, he needs help. He's clearly ill, But people were saying like she was just as delusional and desperate too, because she saw this man was paying the bills. She thought, oh, I'm about to get my BMW X5 with my cold neck interior, and I'm about to go to London and Paris and look at these nice houses. I'm about to get me a house. Like, she was just as delusional as him. Like, someone said that on TikTok. I'm like, I agree. They were both delusional. He was living out his dreams that he thought, his life that he thought, like he was imagining in his head, and she was living out a life that she was imagining in her head. They both were delusional. And I feel like I said, she took accountability, and I'm glad she spoke out on him just for other women to avoid it. But I hope any other woman that would come across him wouldn't be that dumb. But, you know, unfortunately, people are desperate, delusional, and they attract crazy people. And then they just contribute to their own life's chaos and demise. And it's like sad, because a lot of times people's, like I said, I feel a lot of people's own demise is very avoidable. I feel like people put themselves in shitty situations, and then they come out months later, years later in her case, complaining about it. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, yeah, you could vent and you could help prevent this from happening to other women, but like, at this point, what do you want us to do? Like, you knew what situation you were putting yourself in. So it's like, it's kind of like, I don't want to hear it. Like, you know, when people do something and like you warn them, they do it, and then they come back to you like, yeah, you're right, and like crying to you, like blah blah blah. It's like, well, what do you want me to do? You knew what you were doing in the moment, and you knew that it was bad for you. I don't want to sound heartless. I really don't, but I just do feel like people need to practice more discernment. Like, it's really kind of hard for me. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to feel bad for people who put themselves in those scenarios, because like, even for myself, I put myself in many bad, shitty situations. And do I feel bad for myself? No. Not taking accountability. And I'm like, yeah, that was stupid. And now you got to look at what you did. You know, I'm not going to all of a sudden be like, oh, I feel so bad. No, because in the moment, you knew the bad things that you were doing were bad. And they were stupid. And now you got to live with those decisions, you know? So everybody has different perspectives on stuff. And people might think I'm heartless and like, oh, have some grace. I do, slightly. But sometimes it also is harder for me to have grace for grown people. Right? Like, I would have grace if she was 21 and did this. It was bamboozled by a man paying the bills, right? And like the tire thing. 21, impressionable, susceptible to those type of things. But as a grown, like, I think she was in her 30s, a grown woman who probably has seen things and experienced things, or heard stories, or just, you know, just know better. It's really hard for me to have grace for people, older people, making those type of decisions, right? Like, if she told a story and she was like, I was 21 and I met this guy, he fixed my tire, he moved in with me and paid all the bills, he took care of me. Yeah, he was lying a little bit, and yeah, maybe I looked past it because I was just young and in love. I extend grace, because we all were young and just stupid stuff while we were young, right? I don't think any person on this planet didn't do something stupid while they were young. After a certain age, it's hard for me to extend grace to somebody making decisions at a certain age. I don't know if you feel that same way, but.
Oh, can I finally interject after 30 minutes of you talking? No, I don't have anything to say because we're going to run out of time.
No, you have 6 minutes, but go
ahead. Yeah, no.
No, what do you have to say?
This was just a waste of time. Like,
for her?
No, just really for the viewer. Because, like, my perspective on it is just like, it was kind of like the Tinder swindler story. Like, it was funny. It was more like a comedy to me. Like, It was kind of just hilarious. This I didn't watch because I didn't care that much. But if it was in documentary form, I probably would have watched it because it would have been just like entertainment to me. But yeah, it's just kind of common sense stuff. Like, she ended up in this situation really because she just was she was purposefully ignoring certain flags because of what she desired. So like, it's kind of like the person that dates the drug dealer, so they kind of ignore the murders, potential murders and illegal activity that the drug dealer's doing just because they might be getting money and they're paying for all their stuff. It's kind of like the same concept. So if something bad happens in that scenario, then yeah, like you said, like, what do you want any of us to do? So it's kind of like, it was entertainment. It was, I guess, based on some of the specific stuff she was saying that I just happened to overhear. But But yeah, I don't feel bad. I don't feel anything because it's kind of like it's unfortunate that people do this. So manipulative people, men and women, because both men and women do this to people and manipulate and do all kinds of stuff. We just don't always hear all of the stories from everyone about things that have happened to them. So to me, it wasn't also even like that crazy of a story. I don't think.
It was kind of crazy. Like going to open houses and test driving cars, and then the realtor and like involving realtors and realtors be like, they're trying to close a deal, and like because now you're putting other people's like you wasting other people's time, like realtors, like people who like this is their job, and they thinking they about to close the deal, and they just want the proof of funds, and he never sends the proof of funds.
Yeah, it's just
like it is crazy because you start messing up real people's lives.
It's kind of the Tinder swindler and and the other one,
the Anna Devine,
yeah,
whatever her name
it's
is.
kind of like the same thing. I don't know. Yeah, like I don't feel bad. Like unfortunately, it was too obvious. If somebody got scammed like in a different way, then maybe I might feel bad, and even then, that's kind of like I don't know. But yeah, it's her fault, and I think that the whole series was a waste of time, and she should have just approached Netflix with the
she should have,
and she still can, but she should have just approached them with the story.
I mean, she's profiting enough now. Like BMW apparently is about to give her the car. She's going to London and Paris now. Like I think somebody's paying for the trip.
Yeah, and
she got 2.6 million followers. I mean, last time I checked, it might be 3 at this point.
Yeah, shout out to her. So sometimes being ignorant to the obvious pays off.
Yeah, like now her life might be fruitful.
Now she might
temporarily.
Now I might never make more money than her ever in my life.
No, for real. Like if
it's
she
a real
twists the right
possibility.
way, if she turns the right way, she could like really get money.
We're gonna get the Risa Tisa TV show for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure she's gonna be on. Oh my god, she's probably definitely gonna be on like some.
Oh, they gotta put
this week. Probably gonna be on like TV shows like
talk shows don't exist anymore.
Talk show. They kind of do.
What exists? Because
what's the name?
Wendy's gone. Ellen's gone.
What's the name? Jennifer Hudson has one. She might get on that. She might get on Good Morning America.
Yeah,
that's it. Those are two I could think of. It would be daytime. She wouldn't be on nighttime TV. Daytime TV for sure. So Good Morning America or Jennifer Hudson's show. But yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Was just a waste of everybody's time. Yeah. 50-part series that probably was a total of like 10 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours. I was about to say 10. Just off of
people fast forwarded it and they were able to hear it in 4 hours, but it was like 8 hours, 8 to 9 hours, which is insane.
Shout out to her. Get a bag, and that's my super analytical breakdown.
At least she turned it into money. That's all I can say. But she's still dumb, and I just hope women and men practice discernment. Nobody's perfect, but when the signs are obvious, like come on, do better. You too grown at your big age to make certain decisions. Sorry, kill me, but that's how I feel. So the next topic was something I saw on Twitter. I feel like a lot of things that we talk about on this podcast are usually Twitter topics because that's like the voice of the people right now, and for the last few years. Anyway, so I feel like this was like a more recent tweet where some woman was just complaining how they feel like they hate how being attractive as a woman, like being deemed pretty and having like a decent body, there's this assumption that you have like hoes or that you're constantly like somebody's, you're talking or entertaining somebody, whether you're in a committed relationship or you like are entertaining somebody, there's always this perception that like you're doing that. And then that goes further into like anytime you see like an attractive woman, I feel like on the timeline, somebody that looks good or has a really nice body, there's always like in the comments or in like a quoted tweet, it's like, and this for men and women both perpetuate this, they'll be like, oh, I know somebody don't play about her, or I know somebody don't play about you, like kind of like I know somebody's like got that basically, right? And like I know they don't play, like they make sure they holding that down. And I just feel like, that's an innocent comment, right? That's basically a translation into like, oh, you look good. That's basically just a compliment. But I feel like a lot of like innocent comments that people make, when you dig deeper, it kind of like it's very like kind of ill intentioned in a way. Because I feel like making that assumption that an attractive person is in a relationship, I mean, I want to say that's necessarily a bad assumption, right? Because like, you heard that?
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Just keep talking.
Sorry, that's
the mic wasn't gonna pick that up.
I know, that just scared me. I have PTSD from living in the fucking country, so I thought it was like a field mouse. But yeah, I just feel like that's like such a flawed assumption to make. But like I get it, because it's like if you look at this, like the food chain and like the circle of life, right? Like being deemed attractive or having a, like what's considered a nice body, right, is an innate, like natural thing, like to be attracted to like what's considered the best mate. Even the animal kingdom, they have that type of system, right? Like where whoever's deemed the most, like the best mate, is always going to have like more competition for them. It's always going to be the person that's like, you know, more likely to reproduce. And I feel like the same goes for the real world. Not necessarily because, you know, to lower the totem pole, people can reproduce and create a family. But I think that's just natural to think that like somebody who's deemed attractive likely has suitors and is likely in a relationship, you know? But I do feel like you shouldn't necessarily project that onto people, because it's kind of messed up when you think about it deeply, right? I'm sorry, this cough is so annoying. And I feel like the same goes for male and female. The male is probably the same thing, right? Like men, if it's really attractive if it's really attractive man in the timeline, the women are like, oh, I know he got hoes. Oh, I know there's mad bitches in his DMs. Oh, I know he got 30 girls on his phone right now. It's like, dang, I can't just be you, you know? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Because I would say, not to be big myself up, but I would think I would be considered like an attractive person with like a nice body, or was considered like nice body, right? So I do feel like there's people out there, whether they see me on social media or whether they might know me personally, who might have assumptions about me, right? Like they might be like, oh, I know she probably like had mad niggas, right? Or like, oh, I know she probably got hoes. Like even like, you know, we're in a relationship, so that might not be perception, but like more so from strangers, right? Who don't know, been in a relationship for so long, like probably had that perception. And I feel like there's also another perception of like men and female who are considered attractive, that like they probably have like a higher body count. Like if you say, like if you are considered an attractive person and you say like you have a lower body count, I feel like you're not believed, male and female, right? Like, so I don't know. What do you think is? Well, I mean, I guess I kind of already said how I think what the like root of that reasoning is, because like you're just deemed attractive, so people just think you have suitors. But like I don't know. Do you feel like you've experienced that? Like have people said that to you? Like girls have said that like along the years, like, oh, I know you got hoes, or I know.
No.
Really?
No.
That's crazy.
No, what do you? Because I only talk to certain people of a certain like kind of ilk. I don't know. Like I'm not on Twitter, so nobody would just randomly just say that on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then people that I would have talked to like in real life aren't dumb. So like I don't know. I just kind of talk to more intellectual people, so they wouldn't say no dumb. They wouldn't say no dumb.
It's not being intellectual. Like sometimes you might just have a random girl like that might.
Nah, because like what are we talking about? Like what in what world? First of all, nobody's even brought up that question to me ever. Like like a body count question.
Well, you know what? That's obviously common. I think men are less likely to be asked about stuff like that. I've never been asked about stuff like that, but I'm saying I wouldn't be shocked if people had that perception of me. Like if someone were to ask, like, oh, is anybody have? If I said my number, like people probably be like, you lying, because it's like they just deem like, oh, you look too good for that to be true. Like I know that you've been. Like,
what's the number and put it out?
I'm not putting that.
Oh, I thought people were gonna do a survey in the comments.
It's very, very, very low.
How low is it? What's the number?
You stop.
Oh.
What's yours? Yeah, exactly.
1.
All right, Alex. Don't piss me off, for real.
But
for real, like I really feel that way. Like if I said that, especially at my age, I'm 27. I mean, we've been in a relationship for 9 years, so it's not crazy. But it's like people would probably be like, I mean, yeah. Even if I was single, I'm sure it would still be like very low, because I'm very tactical and like picky with stuff like that. So
how picky?
I am. And don't try to talk about our situation, because our situation was like, it was different. Like there was a vibe.
I didn't say anything. I was just asking a question. You just talking. I just want you to expound on your points.
You know, like you're asking these questions when you know how I am.
Yeah, but we're having this discussion for everyone.
I know.
So no, nobody said no dumb shit like that to me ever. And yeah, people are weird. I think assuming anything about anybody is kind of weird. Like you should just talk to the person, and then that answers all your questions.
Yeah.
There you go. That's where it starts and ends for me. Life is simple. Simple as you want to make it.
Yeah, and I just feel like
A simple, are you in a relationship, instead of assuming somebody's in a relationship.
Yeah.
Or
but
assuming somebody's
I
right.
think people just gotta stop like projecting things on people. Like I feel like you have to take away your own prejudgment. So if you see a woman that's attractive, like don't assume that maybe she's somebody does a play about her, or don't assume that she's probably got mad niggas in her DMs and stuff like that. And like, yeah, sometimes it's not a bad assumption to make. Like, yeah, a woman who's attractive more likely than not have men in her DMs.
But why make the assumption though?
Yeah, well, make that assumption.
There's no benefit to.
And there might be men in her DM, but she might not be entertaining them, because that might be the thing too. She's probably entertaining mad niggas in her DM.
What does assuming get anybody? Is exactly. Like my question.
Yeah.
Because like.
And that's just it's so flawed. Because I feel like maybe men wouldn't be shocked, but in my opinion, I feel like some of the most hit women are probably the ones that have higher body counts and who are like women that are attractive. Is that like an outlandish statement?
No.
I genuinely feel that way. I feel like women who are not as attractive are insecure, so they give up their body more easily than a woman who's secure in herself and knows that she's like a catch and like knows that.
Yeah, I've seen it with your friends.
Huh? Mm-hmm. You're so shady. That was shady, babe.
I'm sorry. Anyway.
That was messed up. No, but it's real. Smoothie. It's a real thing. Like I feel like if you like are, this is not an end for every woman, right? Because there definitely are attractive women out there who are just sexually liberated, right? But I do feel like women who know that they look good and are very confident in themselves are going to limit access to who's going to experience this. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like in my personal observation, like bottom tier, not so like popping women have higher body counts from what I've ascertained in my observation.
This is a disclaimer from Alex specifically. I don't care about body counts. No, I don't care about at all.
I don't care about you. I'm just saying, like, that's just my observation.
I'm not saying you said you care. No, I'm saying I don't care.
Make that assumption about what they could deem attractive women, like that they're the ones that body count be high. Like I'm sure a lot of people would be shocked that it really would be the most hit girls. Like you'd be like, her? There's no way. Like, yeah, duh. Like what? Of course. Why would she not? Like that's all she got to offer is vagina. So, and men are desperate for it, no matter who you are, what you look like. So, I just don't like that assumption about pretty, or so, like what's considered conventionally attractive women. That somebody don't play about her, somebody holding that down, because no, like that's not always the case. And let's also too add the fact that being pretty is not everything. There's a lot of beautiful women who are shitty people, shitty personalities, So she might look good, but there's no nigga holding that down because she's a little unhinged, a little evil, a little insufferable. So I like your conclusion. So don't make assumptions about anybody. If you think somebody's pretty, just talk to her, figure her out. Like unlike Risa Tisa, a man can make their own observations and figure out.
And everybody lies, so like I never understood that about asking people really anything. Like you think anybody's being honest about that? Like let's be completely real.
Personally, if I was single and dating, I would be honest about it. I have nothing to hide. Like this is how many people.
But even still, you wouldn't be able to determine whether it was real or not. You would never, because they weren't there. But I would literally be. I
swear, like you want me to.
That's like the weirdest question ever. Like,
it is a weird question.
Like
and I get it. I wouldn't, because like I said, I really feel like people wouldn't believe me, and it's like sucks because like I'm dead ass. Like it's like I would literally have no reason to hide it. Like if it was high, I would be like, yeah, it's this much. If it's low, I'd be like, yeah, it's this much. Like everybody's different. I feel like a lot of people don't say it, but I do think it's stupid to even want to know or care. I do.
I think you should care to a certain extent, but it's the question. Like you have to just. That's one of those blind faith kind of things. Unless you get the only way you're really gonna know for sure is if you get the Carfax on it. But like,
yeah, because somebody might tell you, like somebody might be like, "Hey, man, but you might wanna."
Yeah, and that's the best way.
The whole gang hit, so you might want to not proceed with that. The whole crew hit.
But if it's coming out of the person's mouth specifically, you should. Not that you shouldn't believe it, but like you're never gonna be able to actually know if that's the fact.
Yeah.
So no point.
And I just feel
me.
like that's just unfortunate part. I mean, thank God we don't have to experience it, but that's just what comes with dating when you're older, right? Like when you're younger, the person, like, not saying that this is necessarily true, because you could rack up bodies very quickly, right? But you're more likely when you meet a woman younger to, or a man younger. Cause I still feel like this. I hate the perception that it's only women. Like I feel like women should care about men too, right? Because like I feel like men kind of get a pass, but I personally feel like I care. Like I would care about that if I was single. Like, because that does say a lot too about as a man. Like, why you want to run through all these bops or these hoes, or like, relax. You were prized too. Like, keep that meat for a special woman in your life. So I feel like women should care too, but that's the reason why society doesn't care, because women don't make it seem like they care, and I feel like they should. But that's a whole different. I mean, everybody should do what they want. Me personally, like I would kind of be like, yeah, like I want to care what the number was, but I do feel like after a certain amount, it's like chill, you know. And I feel like men probably feel the same way about women, but I do feel like if you do care about those things, then it's easier to like hold somebody down or date them when they're younger. If you're like meeting a woman in her 30s and like, yeah, like it's more likely than not that it's gonna be them double digits. Like, take it on the chin. Like you already said, what do you say? Take it on the chin. But a lot of people don't care about that stuff. I could get it. Like it's like that was the past. That was the past. Like if you feel like this person could be loyal to you and that's it. But I do also feel like in some ways it is a kind of a personality flaw if you're like doing a lot. If you're like going, like somebody like Kazumi, like she said she willingly used to go to houses and get trained around on her with nothing. She gained nothing out of it. Like she was doing this before she was even famous. She gained nothing from it except feeling degraded because she was just like that. And fine, that's how you live your life. But that's not something personally if I was a man, would want. But everybody has their own what they would want in a man or a woman, right? But it's a lot of layers.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, that's a whole different conversation, the body count thing. Like, I don't know. I'm of the belief, do what you want, live how you want. Like, I know how I'm living, and I know what I will choose in it, what I would want in a man, and I know what I want in myself, and that's just me. I'm not judging people who have high body counts, not judging people who have low, not judging people who have one.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, who cares
about any of this? Why we even have a podcast?
I just know what I would align with. That's all. Like I feel like that's the end of the day. Like my opinion is about just what I would do. I personally value. I feel like my vagina is worth keeping for people that I feel like are worth having it.
People are.
That sounds crazy. But I'm saying this, like I'm talking more so if I was a single girl. Like I've been in a relationship for 9 years, but I'm saying like if I was like outside, like I promise you it wouldn't be high. Like because that's just not who I am. Everybody just has a different outlook on that, you know? And my perception is like I wouldn't date a man that's exceeds us like astronomical numbers. But I'm also
what do you consider astronomical?
For a man, depends on the age. I'm 27, so if I was meeting a man now at 27, I think, to be honest, like anything over 30 is kind of wild for a man at this age. Under 30 is still, under 30 is still kind of wild. Because like, like let's say you lose your virginity as a man at like 17, 16. 30 women in 10 years is kind of wild. It is a little bit. But you would think within that 10-year time period, you had to have been in some type of criminal relationship at least for like a year or two. But
no,
you would hope. I feel like there has to be like, show me some track at this age. Show me some track record of you being in a stable relationship at least for like 1 or 2 years, where you was having sex with the same girl for 1 or 2 years. But also, it is easy to rack up bodies because some people could rack up. Like we talked about that basketball player, you could rack up 10 in one night depending on what's going on. But that's still crazy to me that you would put yourself in a situation where you're with 10 different women in one night. Like I would be disgusted by a man that's doing that. But you know, yeah. Like I think at the age of 27, if your body count's over 30, if I was single, I would not. I mean, even under like 20, even over 20, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. You good on this one?
But that's just my opinion. I just want to make that clear because some people hate when people have opinions on body counts. That's just my opinion. We all are entitled to live the way we want to live. It shouldn't bother you how I live, and it doesn't bother me how others live. I'm just saying what I would do and what I would date.
Yeah.
But I also understand the people that be like, yeah, you could do all that. I know that I keep going.
Yapper, you like the infinite. Yo, you good? You could just stop. You could just stop.
I had an espresso martini.
You don't have to do the infinite yap on the one topic.
I had an espresso martini.
Ooh, that was like 0.01% alcohol in
it. No, cause I'm also like I feel like people like live your life. Maybe you could be in a committed relationship. That's what matters. As long as you don't cheat on me. But I do feel like there is like you could kind of judge people off their sexual decisions. Because for me, sex is so invasive and such like that's just how I feel. It's like such an intimate act. Like you're literally connecting two genitals. Like some people don't see that as serious. I do. And that's especially as a woman. I feel it more seriously because it's like it's such like an invasive thing. Like somebody's coming into your body, like literally, like entering your body.
You're sick.
No, for real. Like maybe men. That's why men kind of get it past because it doesn't seem as like, invasive. Because you're just putting your meat into something. But as a woman, it's like you're literally having a person insert you. Like you're inserting my body.
We got you. We know how it works.
Yeah. So I just feel as a woman, I'm much more like. I don't know. I personally would feel like itchy if I like lay down at night. I was like, damn, 30 niggas been in this. Like 30 niggas are running around with stories about me. Yeah, no. But if that's how you live, that's how you live. Like I could commend sexually liberated people because they just don't care about life's gripes. Because they all know the world's just gonna blow up one day anyway, and we're all gonna die. So why does any of this matter? But that's the beauty of life. We all can live the way we want to live.
Yep.
I feel like I've been talking like I'm high.
Yeah, you've been yapping this podcast. I'm not gonna lie. You good on this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta take my glasses off for this one. I gotta look in the camera. I'm just kidding. Well, this topic kind of coincides with what we were just talking about. Let's talk about relationships today. But when we talk about character flaws, like, in the terms of like body count, right? Like, or just, cause that could be like potentially a indication of somebody's character. And also we were just talking about not a couple minutes ago, 10 to 20, 30 minutes ago, about like us being together for 9 years and actually really, the whole Reese's Pieces thing, really truly knowing the person that you're marrying and like learning them and seeing who they are and what type of person they are before you make such a commitment. I feel like this is the perfect example of that. So what's been blowing up the internet lately, which it's always funny. I feel like a lot of times like it's always US stuff that usually goes viral. So it's always like interesting to me when it's like foreign stuff that goes viral. It's like, because when I first saw this, like I was seeing it a lot from like African Twitter. Like sometimes like I have a lot of people who I follow who like are African, so they're like connected with like a lot of African Twitter, I would say. So when I first saw this, I didn't think it was gonna go as viral as it did, but it went viral, and obviously it's crossed into U.S. territory to the point where I don't know if you saw Kai was trying to get her on his stream, and apparently tonight he got the guy on. He's doing like a 20 versus 1 thing. Mm-hmm. But for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, there's this artist. I think his name is Omah Lay. I never heard of him. Have you?
No.
Nigerian artist was performing. A guy went to the show with his girlfriend, and Omah Lay, the artist, saw the girl like vibing, having a good time. He was like, "Hey, come up to the stage." She was all like, screaming. We're on the stage with him. She was all fanned out, like her phone out, recording, and then they just had a very like sexually charged interaction on the stage, like a performance. She was like dancing on him. Apparently they were kissing. People said that they looked like they were kissing, like they could see. She was arching in, bending over on him, like crazy. Did you actually see the video?
No.
Wow, like real crazy. Not crazy if you're single, if you want to live out your fantasies with your favorite artist, fine. But knowing that she was like finding out that she was in a relationship, right? And you could see the guy just looking defeated, like just in disbelief, like that face. Did you see the picture of his face? Okay.
No, I'm aware of obviously the story, but I didn't see anything about it. I'm honestly, I stay out the loop out of these things.
Yeah, but if you see like his face, like you know that face, like
why do I know that face?
Because like you're a man, like and you probably seen other men go through stuff like this, like this. This is the video of her on the stage, right? Like dancing on him, kissing him, and like, you'll see his face. Like you, come on, like you don't have to experience that to know like what that face means, like that. Like he's just like he's smiling, but he's like in his head, he's probably like, this fucking dirty trifling. Look, this fucking bitch. You know that face. So it's like, it's not funny. 'Cause I'm not gonna laugh at another man's pain or a woman or anybody's pain, really. I mean, even though I did talk shit about Risa Tisa, but that was her own demise. But with this situation, is like, that's wild. Like, to embarrass your boyfriend like that, right? And to disrespect him like that is so crazy. That's like real wild. And like, you know, we talked about earlier being young. Apparently, I think they're 22, making stupid mistakes, stupid stuff, doing things not really thinking, right? And like, also, will say from experience, like being young and in like any committed relationship, because they were together 7 years, does kind of come with struggles because it's like, you know, you meet somebody when you're still developing and blossoming, and there is temptation, there is like a curiosity of what else is out there. So it just sucks. Like, I feel like committed long-term relationships when you're young are hard to navigate. They are. Like, I feel like nobody wants to admit that, but they are. Like, it's just human nature. Like, you're just curiosity, wanting that validation sometimes. And I think both men and women both struggle with that in long-term relationships. But to this magnitude, doing something like this is so crazy. It's so like disrespectful and so wild.
We got into an argument about this one time, probably like, not even probably, this was 2014 or 2015. And my perspective about this kind of shit is that, like,
be single.
Because there was a whole like celebrity, because for me personally, like, I'm never gonna be the type to follow a celebrity woman and be like dropping hard eyes, liking pics, like being fanned out over just even over social media. And we had a fight one time. It was everybody, every woman in the dorm against me on this topic about why, even though that somebody is a celebrity and that they're famous, why you still shouldn't be doing that if you're in a relationship. And I don't know why nobody got that perspective. And that was me at like 17 or 18. And it's not an insecurity thing. And people want to make it seem like it's an insecurity thing. It's not insecurity, because people will try to take you wanting respect, and you wanting respect does not mean that you're insecure about something. That those things are not like, they're not. I think the phrasing would be that they're mutually exclusive. Like, respect and insecurity are two completely different things. Like, I'm not gonna be, like this in a situation. To me, if that was happening to me, I wouldn't be insecure about this situation. Wouldn't make me insecure. It would make me feel disrespected. I'm not gonna be insecure about myself and my feelings about myself.
Yeah.
Based on what you're doing, but I could feel disrespected based on what you're doing. So those are two completely different things.
Cause insecure is like, you're like, damn, what he got, I don't got.
Yeah, I don't want to take her to the show because he has money, and not like that's insecurity. That's like, different.
This girl really is doing this to me,
right?
Like, she don't care about my feelings. She don't care about our relationship. She don't care about how we're perceived, how I'm perceived.
So for me, I have that level of respect, and even at all of those stages where it's like, I'm not gonna be engaging with. Not just because celebrities are more accessible now, but also just in general. For me, it's equivalent disrespect. Like, whether you know the person or not, like, your judgment based on the things that you say or do, like people being fanned out and hard eyes, and like the stuff that people tweet, like, I'm so moist because they saw somebody's picture. Like, to me, that's
still a human.
It's still a person.
It's still a person.
Whether they're accessible, whether they're accessible or not, like, you're still talking about somebody. To me,
that says, if they were accessible, what are you about to do? You going to cheat? If they were, like, it's disrespectful.
And I've seen people say that, yeah, sorry, I would.
Again, like, now that I think about it, it's crazy that we got in an argument. Like, now I'm mature, right? And now I can see that. It is disrespectful. Like, I understand the concept of celebrity crush, but at the same time, a celebrity crush is kind of a wild concept, because they're just a human. At their base, they're just another person. So you crushing publicly, or even like saying that to me privately, is kind of a wild concept, because it's like, they're just another person.
Yeah.
Like, they just happen to just be talented and got famous.
You can't be like, oh, they're out of my league. There's no way I could beat, so I can say whatever.
So I can say publicly,
to me, nah, because you could just as well not do that. Because I know I would look crazy if I'm like in some girl's comments, like dropping hard eyes, or like got posters of her up in my room, and like,
because girls be so insecure about them men like following Ruby Rose, right? But then but then they're defending this, or they are. Oh my God, what's somebody that people think is attractive?
Men.
Yeah, Chris Brown, Trey Songz. I mean, not anymore. That's kind of like when we were younger, but like
whoever.
Yeah, they'll do that, but then I know it would probably feel so despective. Their man was on Twitter quoting Ruby like, "Hard eyes. Oh, I want her. I need her."
Yeah.
Because I know they're just saying it, but they're not. They mean it. If they really got the chance.
Duh. Yeah. Obviously they mean it.
If they got the chance.
Yeah. So for me, this is kind of the same thing. Like, and it's not just because he's accessible in this situation, but like just in general, it's just having a level of respect for your partner. Like, you shouldn't tweet things about. And it's people are gonna always try to spin it like with the insecurity thing, but it's really not. It's literally respect. It's like
respect.
Because you shouldn't be like engaging like with people, even whether they're a celebrity or not, through tweets, social media in general, whatever. And then also like at the concerts and stuff too, because it's all like kind of nuts. Like you wouldn't want your girl to go to the concert and like flash the guy on stage, and just because he's a celebrity, that like
it's okay.
It like
you go home and it's like, oh yeah, he's just famous. Like,
I had no chance anyway. Like that's not the good determining factor.
When you another man like your body, you let him do something, like you let him touch you and dance with you and kiss you in the way that should only be.
And you let him do that in front of me, like the potential husband.
In front of thousands in that crowd.
Yeah. So people can say whatever they want. And you know what? In addition to this too, we talk about this, yo. Somebody's gonna, I don't want to wish it, but somebody's gonna crash out one day, like where it's gonna make some national news, and it's gonna be a problem. And Usher's music is phenomenal, and that 8701 album is like peak, and Confessions 1 and 2 is like peak R&B music to me.
Oh wait, yeah, no man. So wait, 8701. What's that one? Which album was that?
The original.
Oh, I never knew the name of them. Like I know the songs on that, but
yeah, he had yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, 8701. I could play it.
That's the one I had like caught up and stuff.
Nah, that was later.
That's when I first really would listen to him during that era, the caught up era. That's when I first started listening to him.
Usher's one of those people. Like he messed around.
Tread lightly. That's gonna be the name of this episode. Tread lightly.
You gotta relax, because some people are gonna take that stuff a little bit differently. Somebody's gonna really crash out, and
especially because the element of social media. Because it's one thing to do that stuff and like maybe everybody in the concert just saw it, but this is public. Like this went viral. Oh yeah, no. Oh. Yeah, that's crazy.
If I wanted, I could take you from your man.
Yeah, and the way he be moving, like
I could have you eating out the palm of my hand.
That's crazy.
See, that's that type of shit though. Somebody's gonna crash out one of these days, and people do it obviously already. But like,
and we were just talking about this, like
people
the
gotta
snap thing, right?
Yeah,
like, like maybe he wouldn't have, like, imagine this guy maybe wouldn't have reacted that strongly, but now that he's being clowned by the internet, that can make you really crash out.
Yeah, because that's what happened with Will Smith. Because remember when Chris Rock made the joke initially, he didn't have any reaction, and then he saw Jada's face, and then now all of a sudden he crashing out because people are. Yeah, and then his response was like everybody was making all these jokes and stuff like that. Yeah. So then people hit that boiling point, and of course I'm not condoning any sort of violence, and I don't want anything to happen to anybody. But I'm just saying as a warning, like people do take these relationships extremely seriously, like, and people do crazy shit. So
relationships are serious,
especially if it's 7 years. Like
you're putting your time, effort,
everything, your livelihood.
You're spending your, like we were talking about earlier, how life is short, and like. What you do here is that's it. Like there's no re-experiencing this. You spending that time with somebody, and then they do something to you like that. Like it's not light.
Yeah. So to me, it was at first, to me it looked a little staged.
Yeah.
Because it was just like from what I didn't watch it, but from even just like the screenshot you have here in the note and stuff like that, like it looked like really like kind of choreographed low key in a way.
But you didn't see the video how it all started. Like he was just like performing. And
here's the weird part about it, because I was on TikTok. Like I swipe really quickly when I see something that I don't really care about, and I was one of them. So I saw he was performing. He pointed, and then she like went on the stage. I didn't see what actually happened on the stage. The crazy part is
if you look, like the boyfriend's like behind her.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's kind of wrong too, the artist, because you like maybe he didn't know, right? But I feel like you can kind of tell that's a couple. I wouldn't even like be like. Hey, you see a guy's kind of behind her holding her and stuff, right? Yeah. And you're gonna call him a safe. Like this is crazy. And like this is another angle.
Yeah.
And you could tell like he was like trying like I feel so bad. Like he's laughing, but he's just trying to like not crash out.
Who's this person? What's the artist name?
Omah.
Omah.
But look at him. I feel like he kind of had a sad look, and he's only smiling if people are recording him.
Yeah. I mean, he saved him.
Yeah.
Because she was doing that with him. She was definitely doing it with somebody
and that's
else.
What we were just talking about, like really getting to know somebody before you're married. Like this might have been his saving grace. Like imagine you're married to her.
Oh
already.
Man, talk about the crash out. Yeah. He's only 21, right?
22, I think. 22, 23. So plenty of time. You could go ahead and go find someone else. Like move on.
He saved him.
Yeah. Like that's why I hate the whole get married. Only 3 years. Only date 3 years and get married. So they're supposed to get married at what? 19.
Yeah.
18. Like no, stop playing time limits. Really get to know the person. Like, and she proved who she was. Like, and what kind of person she is. Like, to publicly embarrass you like that. Like,
because my thing is this too.
I think the public embarrassment as a whole nother layer to the disrespect. Like,
that's
not saying
that part too.
Cheating is okay, right? But at least like sometimes you could at least respect your partner by doing stuff privately. The public embarrassment is a whole nother level of like you really don't give a fuck about me.
And for the women defending it too, just to me, I'm imagining the opposite, right? Like we always bring up Ruby. Like Ruby is Ruby.
Yeah, because she's just obviously the easiest example of like a
easiest example. If Ruby was performing and she called your man up on the stage,
and was
dropping the curtain, and he has her bent.
Yeah. And he's like thrusting her.
Yeah, you would be. Oh my God,
the internet would be ablaze.
Ablaze. Well, the internet. Yeah.
And a lot of women were.
But I just mean like
for her.
that, like the women that are defending. Like, that's the perspective.
Always put yourself. Like, don't be insecure. It's not that.
Not see. They always want. Like why do women always want? They always want it when anytime a man tries to make a woman accountable for anything.
Yeah.
It's always some sort of insecurity. Or he's sassy. Like it's always something. Like it's any word or phrase or any way they can flip. And I'm never gonna use the word gaslight, but any way that they can manipulate it to make you seem like you're crazy for their wild actions.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's just a dance. Like,
and my whole thing is
what?
This is always like our conclusion. Align with who you align with. You might there's people that are swingers. There's people who have open relationships. If you and your partner both think there's an attractive artist out there and you guys got the opportunity, like, and if a girl might sit there and see her man with Ruby Rose and be getting off to that shit, like, damn, like this, this is.
First of all,
no, but I'm saying, like,
I know it's late, but we're not doing that.
No, but some people we're not doing different. Like,
no, I know we're not doing
that. Like, if you have a partner who wouldn't care about you doing that, you guys go back home and nothing happened. There's plenty of people like that, but align with who you align with. Like, it's so easy to have that conversation about what's your views on relationships, what's your views of monogamy. What's your definition of monogamy? What's your definition of being more polyamorous? Like that's like people don't have these conversations. That's why relationships don't work out because people aren't compatible. They don't talk to their partners and like try to figure out what they want and what they like and what they don't like and what they should, find who you're compatible with. I'm sure there's plenty of women who wouldn't care that their man was on stage with a girl. And there's plenty of men who probably wouldn't care. They probably get off to it. They're cucks or whatever you want to call them. But date that person in.
Yeah, we should. I don't want to get into it right now because I'm tired and I want to turn off all this equipment.
I know.
But one day we should get into that topic.
Yeah, because that would solve 99% of the problems.
That would solve so
everything.
Much.
There would never be
there's somebody out there for everybody. Like
exactly.
The guys that don't want anything with any strings attached. There's women out there that are like that too. But I think the problem is I don't know if people can. And I just said I didn't want to get into it, but just real quick, I think that people can't necessarily handle that. They don't necessarily want what they think they want.
Because they want the open. But that girl that was on the stage, I'm sure she would have a fit if it was the other way around. So she won't do that for herself, but she wouldn't handle if her man was doing that.
Just like the men that want open relationships.
But she would respect her man to understand her doing that, but she wouldn't respect or understand.
The men that want open relationships, but only they can be the one in the open relationship.
Or the men that want woman has to be loyal. But always has to be with another girl.
Yeah, it's all that type of shit. But we should get into that one day. I think that's an interesting topic.
It is.
Because it's very true. There's definitely a lot of people that are out there that will align. But, people also don't really have much of a perspective on everything that's out here, which is crazy because it used to be like you never leave your block or your city or your neighborhood, so you don't really know what's outside of it. But we have the internet, so you would think that people would know and know how to connect with people that might be in that same community because it's really easy.
And it's becoming connect. Like you said, more.
Join a Reddit community. Adam,
people wouldn't laugh at him. Adam 22 and Atlanta, but that's how they live their life. Like you might not agree with it. People are calling him all types of crazy names, but that's how he wants to live. Like this nigga been having threesomes with women
we've met
their
people.
whole relationship.
We've met people that are into that.
Yeah.
We have.
A few people.
Quite a few people. We've met quite a few people that do that.
Yeah, like some people just have a different.
Wait, that's because that sounded crazy. Not us.
Oh yeah, no, we're not.
Wait, that sounded nuts.
Don't even imagine. Yeah. People might start hating us. Like, hey.
Yeah, let's clarify.
We're not into that.
Not us.
But we've been in
we've been around a lot of people.
We
just be outside. That's the thing. So we meet a lot of people just from being outside.
And for me, like I respect it. That's their, like you could tell that's what they both love to do, and they vibe, and like that's their relationship, and like that I love it because they found their person and they both love that. Like they view sex in a different way than we do.
Yeah, because if you want a certain lifestyle, there's nobody's special, right? There's only so many different personality things.
There's definitely finite personality traits.
There's finite personalities. Yeah. There's like 9 different actual personality traits or something like that, or like moods or something. Yeah. You just shuffle them. You're going to find somebody that's probably extremely identical to you. The only difference is probably your environment. But there's going to be somebody out there. And from the couples that we've seen, like, that have different sort of views on certain things. Like I know people
monogamy or relationships, marriage.
Yeah, like I know certain people that one person in a relationship is gay, but the other person's bi, or like 2 women, lesbian relationships, or like all these different kind of things where there might be like different perspectives on sexuality, or like open relationships or polyamory, whatever.
People who literally like have multiple relationships, like in their relationship, like they're dating somebody, they might have their main person, but then they also are dating other people. Yeah,
I've come across so many different people that do different things, and all that tells me, and it's not that there's anything wrong with what they're doing either. Like
there's no right or wrong.
It's I didn't even mean to say that. I meant more so to say like it's working for them. Like it's not like it's not working for them.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you evidence of people that find and connect with somebody that wants certain things. If you want to go be I was gonna just say a wild word. If you want to be out there and get a bunch of experiences with different people, then just do that. Like you don't. That's the crazy part when you think about it. Like you can just do what you want.
Like either you don't have to be in a relationship.
People force themselves to be in a relationship and then don't want to be in the confines of a relationship. It's like the weirdest thing.
Either you don't have to be in a relationship. You could just be single and not have to worry about it, or like we just had to find somebody that also kind of wants their main person or enjoys that experience but with each other, but also wants to enjoy experiences with others. Like you could definitely find that. If you can't find it at the moment, just be single. Yeah,
you could be single and get humped on stage all you want, and then you don't have to worry about anything, and you're not going to be getting slandered on the internet for the rest of life.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure she's going to twist this because I think she's already gaining followers. I thought I wrote that. This was the tweet, but yeah, like she's gaining followers and stuff from it. So that's the only thing, like the women that are defending her are going to be supporting her. But I mean, I will say a lot of women weren't defending her.
Yeah, because how could you?
Yeah. Because then you look crazy.
You look super crazy. And all the men are going to be like, oh, we should, I'm going to write down that topic. That's a whole different discussion. I don't even want to say it yet. But
it's like the bottom line is like, it is like really like, we do have to think this is like a fucked up scenario for the guy. Like, I really genuinely do hope he's okay. Because this type of stuff could definitely haunt you for life. Like, I'm sure he will never forget this. So that day he dies. Like, how could you? Like, that's a traumatizing experience. And we talk about mental health and trauma all the time, but it's like crazy how there's no empathy when you're witnessing in real time something that could be a traumatic experience for a person. Like this stuff is gonna affect him forever. Like it might affect his perception on relationships in the future. He might have trust issues in the future. Like he
gonna turn into a demon.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing.
This is how it happens.
Men will have a situation like this, turn to a demon, and then they start hurting, and then they leave a trail of destruction.
And he's now going to leave a trail of destruction.
Yeah, he might be a
20 women,
boy, like hurting, breaking heart.
He's gonna.
And that's something else I hated too. That people were trying to make that perception of like, oh, maybe we don't know what happened. He could have cheated on her, and that's why she did that. Like, why are we making these assumptions? Like, people will stretch all they can to avoid women accountability, and that shit is like for me very like delusional, demented, like deranged. Women can be wrong, and we said this before. People love to dodge women accountability, but have beefed with women. Fight their friends all the time. Fall out with their friends all the time. But somehow in their little brain, women can't be wrong when it comes to male relationships. But they can be wrong in female friendships.
No.
That's wild. Your food's here. Doorbell's gonna ring. Why did I imitate the doorbell? Sorry, I'm a little. But yeah.
All right, we're just gonna wrap it up.
No, she's crazy. I really hope she don't get clout off this, and I hope that he gets the followers. He should hopefully I don't know if he has a TikTok or whatever, but I hope he's the one that kind of blows up. And funny enough, too, people were saying that he was actually more attractive than the artist. I didn't look at either of them like that to make that conclusion, but I just think like at the end of the day, it's kind of crazy to blow up your relationship over like a 5-minute moment with a celebrity. Like, what did that gain for you? Like, now you gotta lay in bed at night. You lost your person that actually cares for you. Not nigga Omale, whatever his name is gonna do that to the next woman and beat down probably 10 other women next week. And now you guys sit there laying in bed and what you get twerked on. Like
she got twerked on.
Not twerked on. You got thrusted on in a spotlight. That's how now like you're immortalized as. And you threw away a relationship for 5 minutes with a celebrity. Like, groupie culture and like celebrity obsessed culture needs to really be like, what's the word? Like, torn down. Like, people really need to stray away from that stuff. Like stan culture, all that stuff is like, it's so scary and dangerous. And like, now look at your life.
Yeah.
So, bops will be bops. Men and women, save yourselves. The signs are there. And look, he saved himself. Now he don't gotta marry a woman that would disrespect him and who's fanned out. Cause those type of traits never go away. Like, that's who she's gonna be for the rest of her life. Like, she might mature and look back and be like, that was stupid, but that's who she is.
Yep. Anything else?
No, that's about it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you again next week. Goodbye.
I'm so abrupt like that.
I'm going to get my food. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it to this point, this has been the Couple of Things podcast with Alex and Mal. And we will see y'all next week.
I do my own stunts.